Okay, hello and welcome to the Nerd Dad podcast. I'm your host, Anthony, and today we're going to be diving into um, a fun topic, I think. Introducing your kids to your fandoms, from your love of Star Wars and superheroes all the way to fantasy epics and tabletop games. We're going to talk about why and how and when you share your geeky and nerdy passions with your children. Um, why do we do this? Why do we share our fandoms with our kids? Well, because they're more than just hobbies. They are it's it, it's a love. It really is. It's a part of ourselves. It's who we are. They are They are the stories that shaped who we are and they're what made us who we are. They are the worlds that we escaped into as children or as young adults. Um, they gave us comfort and courage. They encouraged us and they encouraged our imagination. Um, they shaped us. That they gave us community. They gave us friends in some cases. Um, so yeah, they're a part of who we are. For some of us, it was a way to escape reality. For some of us, it was a way to make reality better, and for some, it was just a way to find friends. I mean, most of my friends, most of my best friends, I found and developed through my fandoms. And if I didn't find them through my fandoms, they became better friends because we shared those fandoms in common. Um, so and introducing my kids to my fandoms, it's not just about nostalgia. It's not just about remembering the things that I did as a kid. It's about passing on a piece of myself to them. Now, if you don't have kids, that doesn't mean you can't do the same thing. It just means you're passing it on to other people instead of kids. One of my one of my favorite people in the world is my cousin, and he doesn't have kids and probably never will, and that's okay. He doesn't want kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's lots of people out there that have no desire to have kids, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with kids. But he does more to share uh his fandoms and his knowledge of gaming and nerdy things. He does more to share his not nerdy knowledge, for lack of better terminology, than anybody I know. Every time I get together with him, he's got some new board game, card game, tabletop game that he found that he wants to show me how to play. We're always playing games together. We're probably gonna once I get around to getting the setup right here at my house. He and I are going to start playing Magic the Gathering through tabletop or spell table rather. Sorry, spell table. I forgot the name of it there for a minute. And I'm probably going to have him on the show. We'll probably do some collaborations on the podcast. Might even do a recording of us playing Magic or some other games. Maybe, who knows? But he doesn't have kids, and he still passes his fandoms on to other people also. So you don't have to have kids to pass it on. Um, Again, the purpose of this particular episode is passing it on to kids, but that's just because this is the Nerd Dad podcast. This is my the purpose of this podcast is all about being a nerd and a dad. I mean, there's nothing wrong with not having kids. And again, the you, when you're passing it on, the purpose is not to make a clone of yourself. You're not trying to make a mini you or anything like that. You're you're trying to make you're trying to light a spark. You're trying to get them to love the same thing that you loved for the same reason. And I don't mean for the same reasons as in, well, I love Star Wars because because this very specific thing happened in Star Wars and therefore you should love it for the exact same thing. No. I love Star Wars because opened up my mind. It gave me imagination. It's you know, and I want the same thing for you. I want you to feel the same. I want you to get the same amount of comfort that I got. That's what I mean. I want the same. Uh, I want you to have that imagination and comfort and good feeling that I got. So it's about lighting a spark and getting you to love it the same way that I do. Um, but yeah, that's why we do it. So next, when is right? When is right is a interesting, interesting part because it really depends. It depends on your fandom and it depends on the kid. But it's going to be different for each of those things. Some fandoms are very clearly for mature audiences, and some are not. If you are really into Deadpool, then you're clearly not going to share that with a 5-year-old kid. Deadpool is not meant for 5-year-old kids. So you're clearly going to have to wait until your kid is at least a teenager. If you're going to be a responsible adult, you need to wait till your kid is at least a teenager before you share that fandom with him or her. Um, that's just being a responsible adult. Now, if your fandom is Star Wars, you can start sharing that with them at a very young age. Why? Because Star Wars, first of all, you could have, I mean, I was watching Star Wars, like the actual original trilogy Star Wars movies, with my 6-month-old baby on my lap. Now, they probably didn't understand anything they were seeing, but the flashing lights and everything caught their attention. They I doubt they remember anything of it, but it still happened, you know. And, the first Halloween they were alive for, I dressed them up as, Yoda. Again, do they remember any of that? No. Did I do it? Absolutely. So technically, was I sharing my fandom with them? Yes. Was that more for me? Probably. But that being said, Star Wars also does have a lot of animated shows that are geared toward kids ages like 2 to 6, and that they can absolutely understand and follow without an issue, which means you can absolutely share that fandom with them younger ages without too much of an issue. Um, Marvel has some stuff. They have Spider-Man has some younger, like 2 to 6 animated stuff that's fairly easy to follow, things of that nature. It also depends on the kid. Um, Depending on where their uh, mental abilities are, they might be able to handle things at a younger age. You just have to kind of base it on the kid, base it on the fandom. Um, so, if your fandom has age appropriate material and your kid is capable of handling it, go for it. But don't expect a 8-year-old kid to sit down and watch all 6 Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies in a row without and sit still through it. It's just not going to happen. Have you ever met a 8-year-old kid? They don't sit still. You know, you know, they can sit there through all of those movies without an issue, but an 8-year-old kid is not going to do that. So don't expect it. That's just not a thing that's going to happen. So when is right depends on the fandom, depends on the kid. Um, how how to introduce it. Um, Follow their curiosity. If your kid sees that replica lightsaber you always have strapped to your belt and asks about it, there's your opportunity. Answer the question. You know, Again, with appropriate information. If your 2-year-old, if your 4-year-old kid is asking about it, don't go into a long explanation of how lightsabers work that they're not going to understand. But tell them it's a lightsaber. It's from Star Wars. Give them age appropriate information and use that question to springboard into information about your fandom and try to get them interested. You know, um, make it an experience. If they show interest in your fandom, again, I'm using Star Wars a lot because that's one of my biggest fandoms. I've been a Star Wars fan since, let's see, early '90s. I think it was somewhere around 1990 was the first time I ever saw Star Wars. I think it was right around 1990, and my older sister was watching Star Wars, and I watched it with her, and I fell in love with it immediately, and I haven't stopped watching it since. So, but yeah, that's a lot of my examples are gonna come from Star Wars. That's one of my biggest fandoms. But if your kid starts to show interest in Star Wars, make it a movie night. Make some popcorn, sit down, and watch the movie with them. You know, um, Cosplay for Halloween with them. Dress up. Uh, Build a model together. I have. It's not cheap, so if money is an issue, find a cheaper way to do this. But there's a company called Fan Home where you can. Uh, it's a subscription model where they send you pieces in the mail every month, and you build a uh, replica of something from a movie. And right now, I'm building an R2D2, and it's going to be about. I did an episode on it for Star Wars Day, so I'm sure you've seen it already. Um, and I forget what the actual scale size of it is, but it's smaller than the actual R2D2, obviously. But it's going to be like a working R2D2. It'll be remote control, but it also has an automated function. It's really cool, and I'm almost done with it. Been working on it for almost 2 years now. I've almost got all the pieces, but there have been several times that my youngest has asked if they could help me build it. And absolutely, yes, please. And she'll sit there and help me put the pieces together because and I love it. So that's how I get her involved in my fandom. Um, know when to pause. That's a big one. If they start getting bored, don't push it. Stop. If you push with your fandom, you're gonna ruin it. Because if you want them to like it, you need to let them do it at their pace. Um, if you push, I mean, if you have kids, then you know this. You try to anything you try to force is only gonna make them push back, and they're not gonna like it. It's just not a good idea to do that. So let them let them stop if they get bored, if they don't want to do it, and wait. Whatever it is just not important enough to push for it because if they're bored, they're just bored. Maybe it's just not hitting right now. Maybe it'll hit better in a month or two. Maybe it'll hit better in a year or two. Maybe it's just not their thing. Which brings me to the next topic, actually. What if they don't like it? Uh, what if your kid just doesn't care, just doesn't like it? It happens, and that's okay. What if they're more into anime than they are Tolkien? What if they're more into Minecraft than Marvel? Respect it and support it. I shouldn't have to say that. You should be supporting your kid no matter what, not just about fandoms. You should be supporting your child no matter what. Period. Shouldn't have to say that about anything. It should be automatic. But here we are. Um, just support it because again, like I said before, if you push it, it's just going to make things worse. But yeah, just support it. Support whatever their interest is. If because I guarantee you they have a fan. Might not be a geeky thing, it might not be a nerdy thing, but they've got a fandom. They've got something they're interested in. So support it. You might find yourself with a new fandom of your own. You never know. And if you don't like what they like, then okay, it doesn't matter. You don't have to like it. Just support it and be there for them because in the long run, that's what really matters. Support that because that's what they need. They need your support. And whatever their fandom is doing for them what your fandom did for you. And that's what matters. And you need to cultivate that and let it grow. Um so yeah, some closing thoughts there. Let's see. Yeah, introducing your kids to fandoms, it's not about converting them, it's about sharing your joy. It's about sharing your passions, building memories, starting traditions maybe. Maybe if they're into it, and we all hope that they're going to be into it. Maybe you start a tradition of rewatching Star Wars every year. I do that. I watch Star Wars every year, either on Thanksgiving or Christmas. It kind of goes back and forth. I don't do it on the same holiday every year, but one of those two holidays every year, I watch Star Wars with the kids. Um, and we always watch it on Star Wars Day. So, and that's kind of one of our traditions. Start small, be patient, and above all, stay enthusiastic. You know, uh, be patient and be enthusiastic. Support them in whatever they decide. So yeah, Thanks for listening. If you like today's episode, share it with your fellow nerds and geeks, and other parents, other dads. Uh, Comment if you liked it. Comment what fandoms you like and share with your kids and how they reacted. Um, like, share, and subscribe. Until then, until next time, uh, we'll see you.